So good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome to the webinar today. So we'll be today talking about optimizing the GRC ecosystem, the challenges we see with our customers in the risk and compliance space, and the need for an integrated risk management solution. So this event is hosted by Conneqt and joined in by our strategic partner ServiceNow. We have a very distinguished panel of speakers. I'll spend a couple of minutes to talk to you about the session. It is for 90 minutes and this will be kicked off by our Chief Executive Officer, Arjun Ramaraju, who brings in nearly 3 decades of experience in the industry. He is a member of the NASSCOM panel and a renowned thought leader and also a speaker in various public forums. He'll talk about the partnership we have with ServiceNow and how we are delivering value together in the GRC space for our customers. This will be followed by our esteemed partner panel, Venu. Venu is a senior director heading the solution and solution consulting for ServiceNow. He brings in more than 25 years of experience in the business. He works very closely with the CXOs, the leadership boards, the business executives of our customers in the India market and also in the SAARC geography itself. And a lot of inspiring innovations and customer success stories, which he will talk about and how he brings value to customer and eventually driving the business growth. And he's also a very recognized thought leader. You would have heard him. He has been in various public forums, speaker, and also a lot of digital publications from him. And very happy to have him. And we'll be happy to hear from him actually on how we can deliver an integrated risk management solution for our customers and the value and how it helps in meeting many of the challenges we see in the market today with our customers. Followed by that, we'll have Kapil Jacob, who is a senior manager solution consulting from ServiceNow. He'll talk in detail about the solution from ServiceNow in the GRC and how we are able to execute it for our customers and the value it brings and how we are able to deliver it very efficiently and quickly for our customers. That session will be for 25 minutes, followed by Praful. Praful also brings in more than 2 decades of experience in the domain in delivering efficient integrated risk management solution for our customers. So he will run a session about the approach we take, the methodology we bring, and how we are able to bring in the tools and accelerate it and deliver the solution along with ServiceNow for our customers efficiently, quickly, and at a very low cost. Right. Once we have the speakers go through their sessions, then we'll open up for some question answers, talk about the future of work. We are requesting all our customers to post their questions in the chat window, and I'll be moderating that session, directing those questions of yours to the panel, and we'll have them talk about their thoughts and provide their responses. So looking forward to the session. I hope it will be very insightful, relevant, and useful for all of you. And also looking forward to connect with each one of you after this webinar and understand your requirements in detail and how we can collaborate and bring that value to each of you. Right, so I'll hand it over to Arjun now and to kick off this webinar. Over to you, Arjun.
Thanks, Mohan. On behalf of Conneqt, a warm welcome to all our customers, all our participants. A big thanks for taking the time out today. And also big thanks to the ServiceNow team, Venu and Kapil and Siddiq and all of them. And I think it's been a pleasure to work closely with them as we have built this value prop for our customers. And it is a pleasure to have all of you here. And we will make sure that the next 90 minutes are engaging and it is proving to be beneficial for what you can pick up from this session. So again, on behalf of Conneqt, a big thanks to all of you. Yeah, if you can move to the next slide. So briefly about Conneqt, we are India's largest BPM partner, been in this for almost 2 decades now. team of 35,000 employees in more than 20 cities and locations across the country. We work with probably being a leader in the customer lifecycle management. Historically, been proud to have number of our banks, number of retail e-com companies as a customers. Also in the recent past, been doing a lot of work in the IT services space across the board, including cybersecurity. So and hence our I think we are I think something which probably I think is unique about us is the level of understanding of the business processes, right? Both in the BFSI as well as in the other industries, be it utilities, be it retail e-com, be it the manufacturing sector. Our understanding of the business processes in India is very unique, right? And I think essentially our journey over the last couple of years, where I think we have tried to reinvent ourselves, is our ability to and our intent to enhance the digital value propositions and the platforms and the services to complement our business process understanding, so we can make more impact to our customers on their business, addressing the business solutions. So if you look at us again, I think briefly, so the industries that we have a very good understanding of the business process, it includes the insurance industry, includes the banking and the financial services, both on the customer lifecycle management, on the mid and the back office. We are also India's largest professionally run collections company in the BFSI sector, where we cover more than 90% of the PIN codes in India. To a team of 12,000 people that we have. We do a lot of work on the utilities space. We have been involved in the transformation in the utilities industry in many of the states today. We help many of the retail e-com customers today across the value chain. And if you look at the change that has happened or the opportunities that have been provided in India, there's an enormous market for the retail and e-com companies. And I think all of them have made tremendous strides in the last few years, right? And especially even in the last 2 years of year and a half of COVID, all of them have tried to make a big foray. And I think it's been our privilege to have partnered with the retail e-com companies in helping them on their growth. On the functional areas, be it the employee lifecycle management, the finance and accounting, the customer lifecycle management, are all the areas is something that we have a very good understanding and experience across these industries. So one of the things that I joined this company, took over as a CEO about 9 months back, and when we looked at it internally, I think it became even more I think prominent is how do we make sure that why do we exist? What does Conneqt exist, right? And what is our purpose statement? And the more we looked at it, we said, given our huge amount of business experience and the expertise that we have got, we should be there as a trusted partner to help our customers on their growth journey, to help the customers enabling efficiencies, and to look at enhancing the experience, right? Because we understand the business, we have a number of investments that we continue to make on the technology side. And if we combine both of that, we should make a business impact to our customers, right? And I think we felt these were the three important ones, right? And I think so they become the bedrock of what we look at. But having said that, if you look at it perspective, and this is, I think, probably the challenge that all CXOs face when they go into the board meetings. While the board looks at the performance of all of them and they review the performance of all the CEO and the other execs, the question that gets asked in the board is performance is okay, but how are we on compliance? Right? And in many cases, the challenge put forth to the CEOs is, in many ways, compliance comes first, even before we look at performance, right? And I think that becomes important. And when we look at the compliance, when you look at and what all the CXOs are faced across the board on the governance and the risk, I think it is very evident today, right, that the challenges that are there are spread across multiple geographies for them, are spread across business functions, and spread across multiple segments. And eventually all of them are something that needs to get addressed in a meaningful way and in a very proactive way, right? And when the CXOs have to report this to the board, report this to the market, and report it and manage all the stakeholders. So while I think the CXOs are all intent on wanting to do it, we notice that the challenges that is there is in many cases everyone is probably having to be a little reactive because their ability to manage this proactively is very hard, and the number of threats and the number of challenges that they have only keep increasing, right? So I think when we look at it, we see the visibility at the enterprise level to be very, I would say, limited. The ability to monitor and report at the enterprise level is indeed a challenge, and I think in many cases the CXOs are having to scramble to put together all of this. Ability to align the organizational goals along and make sure the respective lines of business and the accountability is there on risk and compliance is important, right? And how do we make sure that this becomes a way of life, right? To make sure that they're not having to do anything outside, but this becomes a way of life across the functions, right? So that is the challenge that we find in enterprises today, right? And this includes all kinds of risks. This could be internal risk, this could be external risk, it could be cyber risk, this could be information security risk. It could be all kinds of risks which are there, right? And that's when we felt with our business knowledge and experience in the industry, it is important for us to see if we can help our customers address this, right? And when we looked at it closely, I think it was very evident to us that we should, and we are a business service provider, and where we play a role is leveraging the best of technology, combining that technology with their business experience to help customers address their business needs. And that's when we felt, I think it was very evident when we looked at it, that we should partner with ServiceNow. And hence we are happy to announce the setup of a center of excellence on GRC along with ServiceNow within Conneqt. And our intent is to leverage the domain experts, and we already have a number of domain experts in the GRC space. This will further get expanded, leverage them. We have the frameworks for GRC. We look to see the accelerators we can set up along with ServiceNow for this, and then look to see the methodology that we will need to adopt, right? And today, so we formally are announcing this and making sure that we are communicating how we can help all our customers there, and we'll be working very closely. The Center of Excellence is already set up, and we'll be working very closely with ServiceNow, right? So, and in summary, so my key message to all of you is what does the combination bring? The combination brings our GRC domain expertise. It brings our vast industry experience combined with ServiceNow's technology partnership, especially right. And I think ServiceNow has made significant inroads and is, I think, omnipresent everywhere on their platforms, and the GRC platform further accelerates this. So the partnership with ServiceNow provides us the opportunity to help our customers on being a compliant, efficient, and an integrated risk management solutions for enterprises and for customers. So that's our endeavor to bring all of this together, so that our endeavor to be a business solutions provider to help our customers on their challenges is indeed relevant. So with that, I would kind of bring my key message. So very excited, and we look forward to working with all of you in helping you. So with that, let me ask my dear friend Venu to take it from here, and a few messages from Venu will be very helpful. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you, Mohan, for the introduction. This is super thrilling. Congratulations, and this partnership is very important, and it's humbling to see that we will be jointly creating and defining success for our customers. And that's super thrilling here. And there are 3 dimensions here you mentioned. That is A, your business process expertise, B, experience and knowledge in this market, and C, the technology partnership that with ServiceNow offers. With these 3 combination of dimensions, I think we will have a new way to define success for our customers and their business. As you said, Arjun, the life is going to transform for our customers in the better. What better can happen when you're talking about the most important topic of all? It's risk and compliance. But risk is embedded into everything what we do or we don't do. There is risk everywhere. Ability to perceive these risks ahead of time makes businesses run far more smoother when disruptions happens. We've always heard about mitigation plans and handling plans, but it's always been in the paper for some time unless the pandemic struck. But we are through with that. We have a new way to define going forward. The businesses are emerging in newer and stronger ways. There are ways in terms of how we are going to define. The definitions of today, the enterprise is about the lines of businesses, the technologies, and various other aspects. But each of these businesses continue to work in siloed in terms of if they want to accelerate the digital transformation. The privacy is continuously, because as we speak, there are so many infiltrations that are happening. Want to hear what somebody is doing, want to look into somebody's data, and continuously there is an expansion in the regulatory space. The regulations for each of these lines of businesses is continuously changing the way they can bring in governance and the right things to be done in the right possible way. For us, enterprise needs to define a clear way of doing, a clean way of doing, and leaving behind an audit trail that is transparent to the regulators and for the institution itself. And more importantly, it's all for the meeting the customer expectations. So because of these siloed things that are there is lack of clarity on the risks. And because of those, there is opportunity, visibility lack as well. As you see in the top line, there is business continuity, the corporate compliance, enterprise and operational risks, third-party risks, and internal audit. If we want to decipher into these 5 pillars, there are in the lines of business, you would see that there are resilience of services that gets disrupted. There are project risks. There are technology risks. These are regulatories in the form of Sarbanes-Oxley or Basel or many other risks, respect to each of the industries. Vendor risk is another area where companies go through acquisitions, mergers, diversions, and outsourcing. There is a need for companies to have a clear visibility of the partner ecosystem and drive these kind of swapping these ways, best possible ways. And when we are running companies in a model where there is shared services, there is even more need in terms of how the transparency of the services is rendered to. So in doing all of these, whether it's line of businesses, whether it's the technology IT foundation, the security, the legal aspects around it, and the finance, HR and facilities and customer service, the risks are inherent. Bringing all of them in a persona-based conversation is very important. As an employee, person goes through a legal risk, a finance risk, and probably an IT risk at the same time. But being able to try and understand much ahead of time and giving these early warnings is super important. A platform that cuts across all these businesses and provides a clear visibility going forward in terms of providing the right kind of governance for the enterprise is more important. Whether it's enterprise, whether it's operational, or in the current terms, we talk about futuristics investment in terms of environmental challenges that are facing, and how do we ensure that we are accountable for the environment itself and then do the right things for the whole world. Secondly, about social, whether it is diversity or inclusion or belonging, how do we ensure that we embed it into a corporate life cycle, into the policies, and derive those outcomes and communicate these good things to the entire community so that this becomes a viral good behavior across enterprises. And last but not the least, in terms of the governance associated with that. In whatever we do, in whatever lines of business, in whatever activities we do, at each of these things leave behind an audit trail, leave behind a mark for somebody to follow, benchmark, or correct themselves. In all of these things, there need to be a lens that ensures that we are on the right path. Together with Conneqt and ServiceNow, I think we are in safer hands to make the path or lead the path towards ESG in the going forward, from defining from governance and risk and compliance to embedded risk management to environment, social and governance. I think we have a great partnership here. Arjun, thankful for all the partnerships and the expertise that you bring in. This is going to be momentous for all of us and for our customers too. With this, I will leave the floor to Praful. I think Kapil will elaborate deeper in terms of what I alluded into each of these aspects, and thereafter Praful. Over to you, Kapil.
Thanks so much, Vinod. Thanks so much for the context setting. we will start with one of the examples Venu quoted, which is on the operational risk. You can go to the next slide, please. So the Venu and Arjun actually spoke about a few of the challenges that most of these companies face, which is around the silo-based approach that most of the firms take, and around GRC, and then the experience and the visibility. Now, I wanted to dwell deep into operational risk, taking financial services as an example. You're seeing about 16 risks. These are 16 risks that financial companies face. Now, these 16 risks, out of this 16 risks, if you look at one of them, technology risk, for instance, let me give an example. Early last year, towards the end of last year, RBI actually barred one of the leading financial institutions from doing, new credit card issuances. And what is the reason for that? The reason for that was a technology risk in terms of outages that were constantly happening in that bank. Imagine the kind of impact this is having on the business. This is where you need to ensure that whether it's a financial services company, whether it is any other enterprise, you will need to govern these risks effectively. Just one part of the risk of an enterprise, which is operational risk, shows that there are 16 types. Imagine how many other kinds of risks we are dealing with across an enterprise. And the visual that Venu showed had so many other risks. The risks basically start coming from different areas, right? People risk, which is your accidents, miscommunication, insufficient resources. Other than people, you have the processes that can cause risks. You have implementation failures, you have change management, you have design failures. This is the second category of risk that comes in. A third category of risk is systems, right? Misconfigurations, unavailability, lack of support and maintenance. And then you have the external events, a pandemic, for instance. The pandemic impacted all of us. These are all the external events that are causing risks. Now, integrated risk management is an opportunity space of 301 billion. Because a lot of these firms has actually started feeling that, unless we get into integrated risk management as an enterprise, we are still going to face all these individual risk components. So that's the opportunity that we are talking about. That's the area that we want to address together as a team. Next slide, please. Now, while we talked about the opportunity, while we understand that all of this needs to be done, there are essentially challenges that we face while we manage these. And what are these challenges? Some of these were alluded to by Venu and Arjun. One is around the organizational silos. All of these enterprises have different departments, different units, different risks that they are monitoring. So essentially, you will see organizational silos. The next issue that we face is antiquated and disparate technology. So one unit is using one technology, another unit is using another technology. So it is poor usability plus these disparate technologies. The third one is manual processes. Even now, there are a lot of firms that use spreadsheets to track risks. And then you have the proliferation of the end user computing tools, which has shadow IT kind of data coming in. With this, if you now look at the other challenges like multiple disciplines, we've been seeing how various different types of risks are there. And when we looked at operational risk alone, we're talking about 16 different risk types. Imagine the kind of taxonomies, the kind of assessment methodologies that would be there for the different kinds of risks. And all of them need to be adhered to while you manage enterprise risk. Add to that, you have systems which are not integrated properly. So there's that lack of system integration, making it difficult for visibility across that organization. And then because all of these silos are there, none of it is getting aggregated. And as Arjun was mentioning, the board's not getting that aggregated view. They're still seeing silo-based views. Then somebody has to run behind to get them that aggregated view. And finally, point in time risk assessment is happening, which is again, leading to a poor issue traceability. So these are the multifold challenges that enterprise face while they're managing risks. And what do we need as capability? Let's look at that. So if you are looking at technology solving for those issues that you saw, then you require a certain set of capabilities coming in, right? You will require, let's say, risk and control library. You will, this is to manage the consolidated list of risks, right? You will need a risk assessment engine. The platform that caters to enterprise risk management needs to have a risk assessment engine. This engine basically will assess internal risks. It will look at the events. It will look at the inherent risks that are there, and then you need indicators and monitoring, right, to establish association between various entities. What is the risks that are there? What are the key indicators around the risks? You have internal and external risk events that are happening, and you need to track them. You need to track them in a very systematic manner, and the platform needs to have that capability to monitor all this frequently, to be able to give you that information as it happens in real time. Obviously, you'll also need dynamic reporting capability, right? Issue management, where you can look at all of these risks and you basically identify the challenges. Now let's take a couple of scenarios here. If this platform has the ability for assigning, let's say, risks or the residual or the remediation tasks automatically based on past history, wouldn't that be great? Essentially, we're looking at the platform having the ability to predict, who to assign something to. That will be one of the best features that technology can bring in while we're trying to consolidate all this risk. What if you are able to have specific dashboards that roll up all of this information? These are the kind of things that we want as a part of a platform that is integrating all of this risks together. And that's where ServiceNow brings that integrated risk solution. What it is essentially doing is using our single database platform, our single cloud native database platform, which has platform capability that helps workflow easily within the system, right? So the Now platform has tremendous capability around workflow and orchestration. It brings modern user experiences in the form of virtual agents, right? So you're asking a risk related question to a chatbot, and that chatbot is answering that question. That's the experience you're getting. You have mobile capability. You have dashboard and reporting capability, which is what it is doing is it is analyzing the data that is inherently available in the system and using it to give you very key indications of trends that are happening along risks. You have the platform giving you machine learning capability, which will help use the data that is available on the platform to go ahead and make those intelligent assignments. So a risk happens, and based on past history, based on past remediation tasks, if it can trigger off a remediation activity, workflow, that's the kind of capability the Now platform brings in. Contextual collaboration. Imagine that we have an enterprise that uses Slack or Teams as their collaboration platform. Now, using that collaboration platform and engaging with the risk managers, all of that inherently available as out of the box, capability. We talked about predictive analytics, the ability to analyze based on past history. All of this that you see out here is base platform capability on ServiceNow. And on top of this, we bring the risk solution, be it policy compliance, be it regulatory change, be it technology risk, be it the enterprise operational risk, be it audit. All of these are the use cases that essentially get added. And as Venu rightly mentioned, we are on the constant lookout for use cases. So that's how ESG is a new use case that we added. We brought in privacy as a use case. Now, this is not lost on our analysts. Our analysts look at this, and the analysts like Forrester have seen that there is a 235% ROI when you use this consolidated IRM set of products that we have. Right? That portfolio that you see comprises all these various use cases. But if you're using net the entire portfolio, we are talking about 235% ROI. And how are we getting this? we are getting this through a few different scenarios, right? One, we are saving on audit. Second, we are getting efficiency gains. Third, our BCM products are bringing in, the capability in terms of productivity gains. So all of this adding together gives you like 235% of an ROI when you use our integrated risk solution. Next slide, please. So what's the actual value? The actual value of using ServiceNow as a platform for integrated risk management is what Venu rightly called out in the beginning. It is embedding risk and resilience into the daily workflow. And how are we able to do it? As you saw, the ServiceNow platform uses a common data model across its products. So this allows enterprises to cross leverage that common data. Second, risk and resilience now become part of everyday activity and user experience. So because it's all on the same platform, you can ensure user experience for the risk related activities that they do. And the platform will continuously monitor risks and controls, alerting if there is an issue. It then also allows you to contextualize the risk for business stakeholders. Why? Because there are different groups. As we saw earlier when Venu was presenting, each of these departments has their own risks. Now, if you want to take it all together and contextualize it, because it's on the same platform, because it's using the same common data model, you can contextualize it all together. And then you can connect and manage this risk through our automation workflows. The inbuilt workflows that are available will help you automate it all across. Now, I want to take an example to show you how embedded risk and resilience works in day to day, right? A lot of us basically what we do is we submit, expense reports. Now, sometimes there's a team outing and, the cap for it, the policy says that it is 10,000 rupees for a dinner. A person overcharges, it is flagged, there's a compliance flag that gets triggered, right? Now, this could essentially create a risk and alert some kind of a manager around it. Now, imagine there is an exception approval process associated with it. This risk, this transaction goes through. Imagine a couple of days later, another couple of people submit similar kind of claims. So the system is able to actually aggregate all of this. It's able to make intelligence out of this. It's able to see that, hey, this is a similar kind of activity that's happening. There's probably a risk, and it can trigger your HR, which is working as a different organization, to make note of these transactions and then figure out, is this a right trend? Is this actually an issue, or is this something that is requiring a policy change? This is a very simple example of risk in our day-to-day lives, right? And how being on the same platform, various different departments can make use of the understanding of that risk. So that's how the platform brings in the risk and resilience into our daily work. Next slide, please. I wanted to bring it all together now, right? This is something that Arjun kind of alluded in the beginning. What's that CXO looking at? He's looking at compliance across the enterprise, and he's not looking at individual teams giving him some kind of a compliance view. He's looking at it at an enterprise level. He or she gets all of this aggregated information, and for that, having all of this on a common platform like ServiceNow, which gives you a common control framework, which has policy management capabilities, which has control monitoring capabilities, will help all those lines of business that are monitoring their individual risks. It will roll it up, and this aggregated information is presented to the board and the upper management for them to manage compliance. So that's how we break up the silos that are there in an enterprise and provide that aggregated view of risk, the posture that the organization has. Next slide, please. And because of all this capability, we have seen that analysts have rated us consistently in the market leader quadrant for risk, be it Forrester, be it Gartner, be it any other analyst. They've constantly rated us as a leader in risk management technologies. And this leads us to the customers that we serve. Next slide, please. We have worked on risk related solutions for a wide range of customers across the spectrum, be it technology, telco, be it healthcare, be it financial services, be it manufacturing, or any other industry, so to speak. More and more customers are onboarding on the integrated risk journey, as we spoke earlier, and they are using the IRM capability that the platform offers. We'll now look at one specific example. This is a leading Indian finance company. They had various different tools for vendor risk management, for operational risk management, for policy compliance, for internal audit, for ISG and policy compliance. They were using spreadsheet for some of it. They were using Pentana for some others. They were using SAP eGRC for some other kind of a risk. They were using RSA Archer for one of the other risk types as well. So if you look at it, this is a classic case of what we've been talking about earlier, silos. Each of these departments is using its own products. It's not talking to the other, which is creating a disparate view for whoever is managing risk posture for this company. So they went ahead, they adopted ServiceNow. And for vendor risk management, they started using ServiceNow for vendor onboarding, for renewal of contract, for risk assessments. For operational risk, they have control testing and action plans on ServiceNow. For compliance testing, they are using ServiceNow for control assessments, for policy exceptions, compliance test planning. And similarly, for the internal audit, they're using the audit universe, risk control test libraries. And as we speak, this is getting implemented across that organization. So here's a classic case of what we talked about, the challenges that we talked about, and how ServiceNow is actually mitigating those challenges for this customer. Next slide. As I end my conversation, I want to leave you with what we've done internally. So ServiceNow is also using internally the GRC capability. And using this, what we've seen is that 100% coverage for 35 regulations, 24/7 assurance that we've been providing. So we are giving better visibility and efficiency for our own chief risk officer. And then there are about 160 corporate managed policies through the GRC. And doing all this, we are saving about $835,000 per year on audit, SOX compliance, and policy risk assessments. So this is us using our own product to ensure that we are being as mature in the journey. This leads me to show you how we can we can take customers through a transformation journey. Next slide. So GRC, as you see, is a journey for customers. Not necessarily everybody wants to do everything at once and get into that integrated risk management play. Some of them might want to start at a lower end of the spectrum. So like we were talking about, some companies using spreadsheets. Typically, if you're looking at GRC as a journey, there are 5 stages. There's the manual stage. Typically companies are using spreadsheet. Then there is a semi-automated GRC processes with 1 or 2 use cases. This is the basic stage. Then there is a repeatable stage where the customers are using 2 to 3 use cases. A managed kind of a maturity is where they have implemented more than 3 use cases. And then finally, you have the optimized state where GRC is fully adopted. It's more than 5+ use cases that we talk about. So what happens is, for companies to know their maturity, to understand how they can use this technology, they will require the domain expertise. They will require consulting expertise, and this is where partners like Conneqt come into play. They can understand the maturity level of the organization. They can propose the right ServiceNow GRC solution and work with that with the customer. So this is where Conneqt Corp and other partners help us. Next slide, please. And as you look at it, it's essentially an ecosystem. ServiceNow is working as an integrated risk ecosystem. We have technology partners. We have content partners like UCF. We have implementation partners like Conneqt Corp. We have some advisory partners. We work together with all of these ecosystem partners to deliver value to the customers. And Praful will you elaborate specifically how this partnership will help customers in the GRC space.
Thank you so much, Kapil. Thank you so much, and happy to be here. Next slide. Yeah, COVID is a word. I hate this word. Everybody hates this word. And last 2 years, but we had to accept this. And we saw that there's a one objective across the globe for every person in this world: how to save my life, how to save my family life. Thanks to the doctors, thanks to the scientists actually, who come up with the nice vaccination programs actually, and we feel we are secure. There's another community, there's a big larger community that is called business community. They were also having two thoughts in place: how to save my life and how to save my business, how to protect my business actually. So this is the thought process, how to protect my business. I will start my presentation here, and during the journey of ServiceNow IRM implementation, we will find a solution to how to protect a business. That is the reasons Conneqt with their core capability and ServiceNow, we are merging together to find a right solution how to protect our business. Let's come to the GRC part. Traditionally, as Kapil talk about, traditionally that is a way enterprise. There's no enterprise over here. This is called silo approach. How they approach governance and compliance have been seen as a three different distinct discipline, framework, and processes. Actually, that is the way to work out. But the pandemic, this single event which happened, and it triggered an explosion of risk affecting all the aspects of your operations. When you talk about it, starting from supply chain to your day-to-day operations, to your liquidity risk, to your brand reputations, none of the organization in this complete world not been everybody affected with the same thing. It replicate that. It indicate that if one event can create such a explosion within the societies actually, then we have to prepare for it. We have to prepare how to protect our business actually. Next slide, please. Yeah, when we talk about a GRC, governance, risk and compliance, we saw that most of the organizations, they have still working on the silo process, Excel sheets, SharePoint portals. They have a lot of challenges. There's no unified compliance. That is misleading throughout the organization, throughout the process, and that provides a lack of visibility to the broader management, lack of integrity within the systems actually. If you take a simple example, in India, we have more than 1,200 compliance. We have a rules and regulation, starting from your central authorities to your state authority to the municipal corporation. Can you imagine that? How to manage that? How to manage this compliance with a manual process? It is one of the tedious for all this auditors who is working on this with the compliance and the board directors. It's very difficult to get a clear picture, clear visibility on the things actually. And some companies, they try out with a legacy system in place. When they try out a legacy system, but at the last, when they present a report, what they do? They take the data, they export the data, and they go with Excel sheet. They cook the data and present to the board of directors. There's no integrations. There's no integration missing over here. So it is not effective, not efficient, and not agile. And supply chain, everybody aware of. None of the industries can say that there's no supply chain risk. It's still, when you talk about India, manufacturing sectors is still struggling with the supply chain. All the big four-wheelers company is still talking about delaying the production cycle actually. They're talking about employee have to work only for 20 days. They cannot work for more than 10. So that is a way going on across the industry on the supply chain side. So this talk about industries is still struggling with the COVID era, and they're asking who can able to protect us. Yes, we are the guys here with the help of ServiceNow integrated risk management system, which can able to protect industries, not just from compliance perspective, from your day-to-day operation perspectives, actually, from day-to-day your business perspectives. Let's move to the another slide. When we talk about this legacy tool challenges and all, as a GRC practitioner, as a GRC researcher, we did a lot of studies on it, and this is from Open Compliance and Ethics Group, who have various practitioners sitting around the globe. they think about it, how we can able to resolve, how we can able to provide one ecosystems which talk about process and technology alignment, because there's a two piece, process and technology. The thing, let's resolve this process side. How we can able to resolve on the process side? Let's talk about the common method of core task, unified compliance, uniform taxonomy, consistent vocabularies, consistent risk governance and management framework actually. They talk about risk-based action plan. They talk about standardized GRC process. And when you see from the board of director perspectives, actually, they have planned in such a way every organization have to look GRC from top to bottom approach. When we see from top approach, governance system have to include your strategy. When you're talking about governance, you have to start from strategy. You have to talk from what is the strategy objective. When you talk from a risk system, you have to talk about brand and reputation. You have to start from operational risk. You have to think from third party risk. When you think about compliance, you have to consider all the policies, all the helpline training. You cannot keep aside anyone in the silos process. We need to be strictly follow this top-down approach. And when you saw this process alignment, if you're done with this process alignment, you're done with the half of the duties. But rest of the duty, that is a 50% job, which our corporate is still looking for, how to able to enable the technology alignment actually. The OSTEC group itself provided a technology thing. They know that how we can able to resolve it. They provided a data visualization. They thought, yes, greater visibility is required to be at the board level. Analytics capability, yes, let's couple talk about it actually. On your day-to-day business, when any transaction happen, your analytics tool, your predictive tool should able to predict it. There's no human touch point over it. Let machine think about it and provide a decision. That is a business intelligence, predictive system include and all. So this is the ecosystem provided by the GRC practitioner. And we are working close with this practitioners to make sure that our core methodology, that is the core concept of the Conneqt, provide a process and technology alignment and provide the right solution to our right customers actually. So let's move to the next slide. Yes, as a Conneqt subject matter expert and GRC practitioner, we went to the drawing board and we took all this element which is spoken by the OSTEC group, which took all these things in our culture as a methodologies, and we design the three structure, that is a foundation layer, execution layer, and the value realizations. When you talk about the foundations layer, we saw that in a silo approach, what is missing? You have chief risk officer, you have a compliance officer, you have all the team sitting here. But in a silos approach, accountability is missing. You have the department in place. We are not talking about the new GRC department. We are just talking about how to align your process with the technologies actually. That's why we talk about the accountabilities. And accountability can be being with the help of a technology ecosystems in place. Automations, yes, once you have a right automation tool in place, you can able to enable this tools in place. You have a repository, yes, I spoken about 1200 compliance, and most of the companies which have a global footprint, then you have to come with the GDPR. When you talk about NIST compliance, you have to go through the n number of compliance. And if you're just thinking about silo approach, it is not going to work actually. Your business is going to impact, and your management, your board of director always think about how to protect my business, because COVID is one of the incident, but we see the climate changes. There's another threat knocking the door actually. There might be another threat knocking the door. Who is responsible for that? A board of directors says that I have invested huge money on this actually, but who's going to save my life? Who is going to save my business? We talk about foundation layer, accountability, automation, repository, and consistency. Yes, this is the value framework when we provide, which is a methodology provide. We talk about this approach have to be there in a business for longer period of time. That is called consistency. We talk about we are going to talk about a culture, a risk-driven culture, compliance-driven culture. We are talking about the risk champion within the organizations, because we know that we have to make you independent. You are best. You do your business best. You know how to do your day-to-day business operation. But from the compliance side, we make sure that we are the guys from the ServiceNow and from Conneqt to make sure that you do your business operation with the help of accountability, automation, repository, and consistency in your business. Once you set up these foundations, you will reach to the global label actually. When your business operations are running throughout the in a global presence, your board of director will get the right picture. Your system is available 24/7. It is visibility is on the system well integrated in the systems actually. Then when you see what value is bring to the system, what is value is going to bring to your board of director. It is a management reporting is very simplified. A board of directors can get the report on your mobile applications. The audit trail is going to become very simplified. But when you talk about the workflow, that is a core feature of ServiceNow. You can able to build, you can able to monitor all the tasks which is running on the system time to time basis, and it gives you the complete collaboration within the organizations. So this is the one of the methodology which we are going to follow throughout our engagement with the client and with the ServiceNow when we're going to implement that foundation, execution, and value realizations. Yeah, so when you talk about from Conneqt, subject matter expert, and GRC practitioners, when we are going to deal with the client, we saw that in the industry for working for last 15 years, we saw that what challenges they are going to face. First, are the best practices we need to bring into the system, and when we connect with you guys, we are going to conduct a workshop. We are going to provide a consulting. When we do the consulting, we know that still your all the processes which you define for the various business function, it is working in a silo. We require to optimize this business process with our best practices. We are going to provide you the solution approach which is going to fit for your business, and so you can able to replicate one solution for rest of your business unit. That is our approach. That is a maturity model which Kapil talk about actually. We are going to start with the one single business function, going to and take it to the next level. That is called maturity model. Then we're talking about the how to simplify this requirement, because if you work in silos, we know that when we're going to talk with the client, it is a complex requirement they're going to bring us. It is our responsibility from our GRC practitioner to simplify those requirements. Regulatory content. This is a big piece. When you talk about the regulatory contains, yes, there's a number of regulatory contents are there. We require to map this regulatory content with your business function. That is still in silos. That is a big task, and with our experience, we are going to bring this capability from the UCF framework, from the Indian regulatory framework. We are going to map this. Then we're talking about the business objectives. Every organizations have their defined business objective that is driven from the board of directors, and we talk about it. This is the not aligned with your business processes because you don't have the proper technology in place. This is the first and foremost thing. Process and technology alignment. This will going to give you the board of directors clear visibility and align with the business objective. So they get a clear visibility on the day-to-day operations. They will able to take a proper decision from the business perspective that will help them to protect their business. And I've spoken about sustainable risk program. Yes, as Kapil mentioned that the GRC itself is a sort of oceans, and we don't want to go directly deep draw into oceans. We know that we are going to talk about the specific use cases which you have a more challenges actually. We'll take that use cases. We will prove that use cases. Yes, you are going to get a value addition from these use cases. Then we are going to talk about after 6 months of the deployment cycle, we're going to take the next use cases from you guys actually. We'll deploy this. This is the way you guys will get a feel of it. You will feel on your desktop. You will feel that yes, more my board of directors getting the clear pictures. My day-to-day life is simplified and with less number of resources because it is a technology enablement things in places actually. And we will see the rationalize the legacy system. We know that for last 20 years, organizations are not using much technology in place for compliance things. We know that we are going to see a lot more legacy data, but we are not going to lap your legacy data. We have mechanism in place on ServiceNow where we integrate your legacy data in such a way it will be available for you guys as a historical data. You can always able to refer those data. We know that because in compliance, every checkpoint, every checklist, every evidences is very important. You require to produce the things actually. We are going to provide a risk culture, risk awareness. Yes, this is the first and foremost responsibility. When we do the consulting, we will identify who is a risk champion within your organizations. We will make sure that we will educate from functional GRC point, we will enable him from ServiceNow enablement point. We will enable him in such a way he will able to drive this risk awareness culture within your organizations actually. So it will be more beneficial for organizations. He will able to create another risk champion within the organization. We want to drive this culture. Reporting capability. This is the missing since the beginning on the silos process. Everybody talk about Excel sheet, taking to the management, board of director don't have visibility. So couple of points we are going to bring from the domain expert point of view. Let's talk about the ServiceNow solutions actually, because and what is the most important, what I saw on the ServiceNow applications. Take example, if you join any company, if you get a laptops and what you get, first things you ask, my Outlook should be up and running, and you're happy, yeah, my Outlook up and running. Then you ask the IT guys actually, can I get my Outlook in my mobile? He say yes, why not? That is the and your life is free. Yes, you know that when I'm going for somewhere, I can able to see what is happening on my company site. Similar way, ServiceNow provide this cool capability. When you're deploying the applications on the cloud environment, you can able to get these applications on your desktop, your laptop, and your Android mobile. This is the best features, and it is a seamless integrations on the day one. Once it's go live, you will have the feature on your mobile apps. It gives the future to each auditor, its compliance officer, is the board of director, the single view. It is no change on the view. That is called a data integrity. We're talking about data integrity. Let's look into the respective modules actually. Like take example, policies and compliance. When you talk about this policies and compliance, especially let's take example in India market, how this happened when RBI come with a new circular and they send a email notifications to the various bank, public sector bank, private sector bank, and most of the banks in India, they have presence in the tier 2, tier 3 city, and every branch manager need to be get updated awareness of this circular. But what happened actually? This your circular which has been issued by the RBI, there's no mapping with the business function, there's no mapping with the day-to-day operations. It get lost somewhere actually, and so it really impact your business. It impact your business. From most of the cases we saw that actually from my personal experience. I'm sorry to say that, but that is happened in the past. Most of the circular it's not been tied with your business function. It's not been tied with your day-to-day operations actually. This says, yeah, we have not received that. That is the common terminology where the branch manager they used to do that actually. But once you take example, if you bring this policy and compliance management from the ServiceNow, you will be having your application up and running on your mobile apps. Tier 2 manager, tier 3 manager who's sitting on the different looks, and take example sitting in Indore, sitting in Guwahati, sitting in any places actually. Whenever any regulatory update happen, he will get a complete feed into his systems actually with the business function which is tie up, and he will get a notification on the system. It means that whenever any operations he is doing, he have to follow the circular based approach which is designed by the RBI. And whenever any regulatory bodies define this, they are defined for your operation to work successfully. They want your business to be protected. They want your compliance posture to be protected. So we guys are here to protect your business from the compliance perspective. Similar way, let's take example an audit. Every organization have to do multiple audit. Either you have to do internal audit, external audit, HR audit, stock audit, vendor audit, and number of audit we require to do every month. And how much team we have, we require to have a number of resources, and especially on this COVID era, most of the guys working from home, very difficult for this guy to collect the evidences. Documents are lying over there because no policies are in your not in systems, they are in the manual effort and all those things. In a similar manner, if you think from the ServiceNow models which in place actually, and again, I'm talking from the best feature they provide as a mobile application. Being a auditors, you go to the respective auditable entity location, and you can, if you see any deviation, if you do any finding, you can capture that with the time frame. That is a real-time incident tracking mechanism provided by the ServiceNow. It captures the information in update. It update to the top management. That is the way it flow down to the. When we talk about top-down approach, yes, we are talking from the governance, risk, and compliance, and when we providing all the evidences, is going from bottom to up actually. So your top executive will have a clear picture. Even in case of a policy, when you saw that your branch manager, if it find any compliance gap, he can able to file a compliance gap, and he can able to put it towards the mitigation plan. So board of directors sitting over there, or your compliance officer sitting over here, they can see that there's a misleading on a compliance activity happening. So we want top-down approach. So your bottom-up guys are more accountable. Accountability is going on the silos. Board or directors or management not able to get the right result out of it. That we call always as we want to protect your business. We want to integrate all this silos mechanism in place actually. And so all the document, all your policy document, all your evidence document will capture, and historical report will be there. So it will be easy for you to on your day-to-day operation how to manage this. There's another application. There's interesting applications on the third-party and vendor risk management, because in this global environment, when everybody is exposed with the multiple vendors, that is the business demand. And when we saw that, especially on the e-commerce company is the biggest example of e-commerce company. They have a seasonal based vendor. On the festive season, they have various vendors. On summer season, they have different vendors. On the winter season, they have different types of vendors. It means for every season, they have to prepare themselves to provide the value services to the customer actually. And the vendor onboarding process to the vendor auditing for their various services is one of the tedious job if you take into the manual process actually. If you automate similar things actually, you will have the vendor posture, that is called a vendor management. So it will give the clarity for your e-commerce systems in place actually. So for my festive season, this is my vendor list is going to be do over there. It is going to be protect your business, because if you're putting a wrong vendor for your festive season, something happening on the system, it is going to be give you lot of problem from your sustainability point of view. You will not sustain the business. So vendor risk management is one of the important applications which has come up due to this pandemic. And I say that pandemic is just one of the event. If another sort of pandemic, take example when you talk about the climate change, this sort of comes in a picture. On that time, it is very important to have your risk posture as well as the vendor risk posture, which we are getting it from the vendor risk management. It will give you the complete clarity when you talk about the vendor risk management from the ServiceNow perspective. Another application is business continuity. Since COVID started, it was a must for every organization to do the work from home, and IT team was super fast busy for allocating the laptops and various things. It means a business continuity. Earlier we talked about a business continuity in the paper. Actually, says that yes, all the critical system, critical infrastructure, we have to protect this critical infrastructure. But the real meaning happens after the COVID. To get to know that if we are not able to protect our critical infrastructure, we have to involve critical infrastructure as the employees, also one of the critical employees actually, because day-to-day operation, if your employee don't have a laptop in place, your business operation going to affect actually. So it is the complete ecosystem area of it. We need to identify what are my critical infrastructure, because any event which is happening, it may affect the n number of areas. That's a 360-degree view of your business continuity plan. So when we take this ServiceNow integrated risk management approach, you will see that you have aligning your all the continuity process with your all the infrastructure. You are aligning your process and technology and giving the right solution and protecting your company ethics, policies, and day-to-day business operations actually. Similar way, when you talk about the ESG, environmental social governance, it is a again come from the climate change. Actually, it is again not the human generated. Actually, obviously there's a lot of things happen in place, but again there's a threat for all this energy sectors companies and all. They need to look back what we can do that. So yes, we have solution in place from ServiceNow platforms, and it provides you the same pictorial view of your social governance responsibility. It is an opportunity for organizations to look and see how we can do that actually. Yeah. So next slide. With the help of all this silo approach to the integrated approach, when we see that if you align your compliance officer to your business operations, we get a clear picture at the corporate level, at the GRC level, and if you replicate these solutions to the other area side, that is a maturity model. We talk about it. We can replicate this solution from one area to another area with the help of a GRC tool, and we can able to bridge the gap here. Yeah, thank you so much, Mohan. That's from my end.
Thank you, Praful, and thank you, Kapil. We know Arjun, very insightful, contextual, and a lot of experience shared. I believe the participants would have really benefited from that. And I see questions already posted. Let me try to go through some of the questions. And I request all the participants, please feel free and add any other questions you might have for the panel. I'll be happy to bring it to them. So one of the questions, maybe Kapil, I can have it for you. Does the solution support offline data gathering? Can we do that on ServiceNow?
Yeah, so I think the question is, you being connected to the system or not, and to be able to yes, collect the data, right? Of course, our mobile capability that we have allows for offline data capture, and then once you're back on the system, it syncs it up back to the system. So that's part of the capability, platform capability.
Excellent. Maybe I'll follow that up. One more feature being asked is, does this solution provide intelligence-based automated risk prediction?
So risk prediction at this point in time, the way we are using ML is for classifying risks or for assigning risks, not necessarily that it will whether it will predict if a risk is going to happen or not. So as we are adding ML capability, machine learning capability, primarily what we're doing is we're trying to address the efficiency of the agents. So you don't want time spent on an agent or a risk manager waiting for something to be assigned. So our fundamental approach is to solve for that, as in auto assignment and predictability around auto assignment and classification. That's definitely in platform capability right now, but these product teams keep on adding additional capability. There is a store release every month. There is a two-time major release every year. So that's the kind of frequency with which more capabilities get added to the platform.
Yeah, I think we can very soon look forward to predictive risk also, right? I believe. And maybe to you, there's a question around climate change and how do you see this from a compliance perspective? You talked about ESG. I think very relevant to elaborate on how this is being handled.
Yeah, it is. It's a good question because it shows the awareness of the questioner also, because this has got a precedence in terms of being accountable to the changing world that we see. And how do corporates become accountable in giving back to the society is more important. And in this construct, we have to look the amount of saving that we as corporates or enterprise can provide from every activity that happens within the enterprise. And during the pandemic, we've seen that travels have come down, and that has resulted in carbon credits and as against the past year to this year. How are enterprise able to account this and publish it in their own books is the first question. The second is in terms of even in our offices that we've not been able to go, there's significant amount of the company's reduction of power consumption and many other ways that it has been reduced to give back in terms of an accountancy around it. So if you dissect into lines of businesses, into transactions, there are so many ways that each of the corporate enterprises have converted a possibility of carbon credit, that we should make it accountable and show and communicate to the world that probably there is a best practice here, and probably there must be something to learn, and probably we can balance it out in some way what our business demands. So these are some of the learnings that we could do based on data and analysis. So here is a possibility, is what I would say, Mohan.
Thank you so much, Venu. A few more popping up. One, does ServiceNow provide widget flexibility? Maybe to you, Kapil.
Widget, is that the question? Widget flexibility?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So I think one of the areas that we deliberately didn't cover is about the capability of creating your own stuff. So we have App Engine, which is a capability where you can build your own kind of applications. So you can definitely build widgets. You can, whether it is for dashboards, whether it is for service portal pages where there's a portal page for the risk and you want to have widgets there. That's all inherent platform capability.
And just to add on, I think more people should be part of the ServiceNow user group and engage in that platform and collaborate, ask questions, learn more. We do this across the 3 hubs in the country, North, South, and West, and bring in our customers to speak as well. So definitely we look forward for more such engagement and more learning in deeper sense, I would say, more.
Good call out, Venu.
Absolutely, great. Praful, you talked about banking customers, right, and some of the experience and the regulatory compliance and circulars from RBI. This question again a bit broader, saying how ServiceNow can be beneficial to BFSI industry. So maybe a bit more to elaborate on your experience and how it has helped our customers.
Absolutely. When you say from RBI, we have, as I spoken, we have a number of regulations and number of circular comes actually. And when you talk about the ServiceNow, this is have a very nice regulatory engine actually that is called continuous fit into a system. That is the capability they provide. It means it is simplify on a monitoring activity. You're managing the compliance. First thing problem is managing the compliance. How do you want to manage this? Then you want to monitoring. It is being automated with the help of ServiceNow. And when you tie up with your business function, that is our main goal. So tier 2, tier 3 branch manager who's sitting over there, he's also responsible. We are keeping him responsible. Accountability, it will give him projection to that. So that is a layer we want to bring it to all the banks when we work with them, and we had done in a past actually. So when you see at the broader level, you will get a clear visibility where we are from the compliance as well as the operation perspectives. Our objective is changing to the COVID. We have to talk on the operation. We are helping on the operation with the help of compliance posture. Mohan, yeah.
Mohan, can I add on to that question? Because I think it's really a broader question than just the GRC aspect of it, right? The way I think the way the question was articulated, I think it was how can ServiceNow help BFSI customers? I think that's how I interpreted it. So absolutely. The point of view that I want to share, and Venu can definitely add on with his vast experience. If you look at ServiceNow broadly, there are 4 portfolios of products. One catering to the IT experience, the second catering to the employee experience, the third catering to the customer experience, and the fourth one is a creator creator workflows. You can build your own solutions. Now, when we build solutions for industries, These can be across any of these domains that I spoke about. You could have an IT solution for a bank. You could have a employee solution for a bank. You could have a customer facing solution for a bank. And then you could build your own bank workflows that you want. So these are broad categories in which you can do stuff. What we've also done is we've got business units for various verticals. Now we are going on the verticalization journey. We're having verticals for specific areas. For banking and finance, we have purpose-built workflows around financial service operations. So if you're talking about loan operations, for instance, you have workflows associated with this. This is built off our customer workflow. It's actually sitting on top of our customer workflow product, but it's purpose-built with buy-in framework and whatever the banking regulatory frameworks are there. It is sitting on top of it. So net, I think the way I answer this is that we have solutions for those 4 areas that we spoke about, catering to the BFSI use cases. In addition, we have purpose-built solutions for specific banking and finance use cases.
And just to add on, since you called out Kapil, I can't stop myself. Whether it is reducing the average handling time of customer and also conversing around businesses at the same time, and employee onboarding across different geographies, or IT changes that happens, risk is fundamental and foundation in terms of whatever happens in these interactions. How do you manage these complexities of interactions efficiently and make those businesses run safely is the most important prerogative. So I think you said it right. This is a very important conversation and helps our banking finance customers a lot. Over to you, Mohan.
Sure. Thanks, Kapil and Venu. I'll throw this question to both of you. Does ServiceNow have any feature wherein we can use it to create knowledge tree? Example, scenario-based path route for FLAs to use rather than seeking assistance from managers.
Could you repeat that second bit of it? I think I got the first part of it, but the second, that FLA part of it, if you could.
To use can use scenario-based path route for FLAs rather than seeking assistance from managers.
Yes.
Is there a feature wherein we can use it to create knowledge tree?
Venu, you want to go ahead?
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, there are 2 ways I think we can accomplish this, right? One, we have what's called a playbook. This is essentially, a capability that, again, now this is all platform. The good part about what we do on ServiceNow is that we're not restricting capability in a certain product alone. We bring it to the platform so that you can reuse it across various product set. So playbooks is a classic example. Playbooks, it is a guided kind of a mechanism. So somebody looks at it, it tells you what's the next step. That's one way of, the scenario based approach that we are talking about. The other is if you're looking at a product like IT business management or the what if analysis that is required. This is actually part of some of our products. If you're looking at IT business management, that's a suite of products. It has project and portfolio management, and what if analysis and scenario based workflows are actually part of that suite. So to answer that question, it's 2 ways that you can accomplish for. Number one, you could use the case playbooks and then build whatever tree that you want to, decision tree that you want to. Number 2, if it is a more of a project kind of a mechanism, then you use the what if scenario.
Okay, right. Thanks, Kapil, for that. Maybe to you, Venu, and also Kapil, you touched upon this. Question is, how does it compare with SAP GRC solution? Technically and commercially.
So it's actually a tricky question. The reason why I say it's a tricky question is that we've been talking about IRM where we're talking about an integrated story, right? We're not looking at it from a point-based kind of capability. When you're looking at a competing product which is sitting like SAP GRC for that matter, what is happening is that the fundamental difference between where we play better over some of the competitors is that it is a single platform, regardless of any application that sits. Everything is sitting on that single platform, and that's helping with that common data model. So this gives you that unique advantage of having all the data flow through various applications and everybody is getting the same data. When you're looking at any other competing product, these are point solutions catering to that use case, but not necessarily having a common data model with other product enterprise products, meaning that you will still not be able to get that cohesive view. That's the fundamental difference that I would like to call out between these products.
Yeah, and one more important thing is that it is this, you don't need to take away any product when ServiceNow needs to be there. It's about bringing all of these best things possible with ServiceNow as a platform of platform. And that's how it needs to be seen. If SAP GRC is focus is in terms of financial aspects of SAP and SAP system, it's important to bring those data into, correlate with rest of the enterprise data and bring in a larger decision making around the governance, risk and compliance, or for that matter, integrated risk management, or for that matter, ESG. This is going to be an important source like any other source. And that's how ServiceNow sees it as a platform of platform being positioned there. So it's a more of a cooperation than a competition. So that's the ecosystem that we live and thrive.
Very well said, Venu.
I think, yeah, very well said, Venu. And there was one follow-up question that was kind of alluding to what you said, why ServiceNow is required sitting on top of SAP, GRC or any other solutions. Is an organization covers various domains such as compliance to fire, municipal corporation. How do you get help on updating the rule book, laws, compliances to be followed as per the law of the land? So there are various sources on which you get into the compliance that you need to take care of and address. And a platform like ServiceNow can do it at the enterprise level. Maybe if you want to spend a minute more, Venu, to elaborate on this.
Yeah, and I want to step back and go back to some of the questions and Kapil had also answered. The answer lies in this whole thing called common services data model. And that's where the entire container of all the information, and I reflected on customer experience, employee experience, and IT experience, and the enterprise itself. This is a container containing all of these data. A customer related conversation could have gone wrong in many ways, but capturing that information and who did that and ensuring that that doesn't happen and what kind of compliance was broken is one thread. But same thing could have been in an IT related aspect in some other thing by the same person itself. So there are many ways to look in terms and dissect in the whole cube that you can see in whichever journey and pull through those kind of areas. It could be an onboarding on employee of in Japan could be different from what it is in India. An interviewing process in US is different from in Sydney. So these are some of the areas that we can look into and ensure that the law of the land, whether it is onboarding, offboarding, switchboarding, whatever happens, or for that matter, customer interaction, or for that matter, any changes that happens internally are within the framework that the particular business enterprise works in a regulatory environment, the company corporate policies, and any other standards for that matter. I've just talked 2-3 things, but there are 30 plus regulatory standards and risks associated, tons and tons of them, and the controls are innumerable as it goes. But the way to demystify this complexity is to having a common services data model, allowing the artificial intelligence and machine learning to explore based on the conversation and the topics that desire to be conveyed and decision needs to be taken. That's how it needs to be seen more.
More just one addition, and it's actually an add-on to what Venu said. So, so if you look at the slide on the ecosystem that we presented, there were different kinds of partnerships that we were talking about. One of the partnerships is around content partnership. So UCF, for instance, right? UCF, that is a compliance framework repository. So UCF can give its content, LexisNexis can give its content. We can get content from, if you are talking about a local government and there's a specific compliance there, this can all be pulled into ServiceNow. So there are different ways, like the content providers can give it to you, and there is a pre-built integration. UCF, for instance, or LexisNexis, these are all pre-built integrations available in the platform. But if that integration is not available and you want the data coming in from a local government source or whatever it is, that data can as well be brought in. And like Venu rightly said, because of the CSDM, the Common Services Data Model that we have, all this content can be leveraged within all the applications that's available on ServiceNow.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Kapil and Venu. Kapil, a technical question, maybe you can help with the response. Does ServiceNow solution provide native multi-tenancy?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does more than that, because every customer has an instance more than a multi-tenancy, but definitely yes, and it's more secure, more powerful and whatnot. But the more important thing is that every customer is as an instance as well.
Great.
And
so,
Mohan, there is a website called the Trust website. If our attendees just type in ServiceNow plus Trust, that's probably the first hit you will get on Google. This actually gives a lot of this kind of specific details on the architecture and a lot of other good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much. I think some really good questions, thought-provoking questions from our customers. We have only a few minutes left. Maybe Arjun, some final thoughts from you before we wrap up the session about the partnership and also the solution that we discussed today.
Sure, thanks, Mohan. So thanks to Venu, Kapil, right, for all the. I mean, I think you provided a lot of insights into how the platform can be leveraged. I would say, Mohan, I think the important thing is the one thing that we all know is going to be constant is the need for more compliance and and for organizations to look at risk management, and it is no longer just going to be the purview of a few people within the company, but in many ways everyone within the enterprise is going to play a role in that, correct? And as we have to, and businesses get so dynamic, there are so many org structures that keep changing to be able to help address those business dynamics. When all of that happens, right, and we see a lot of the enterprises see a lot of churn in their own management. When all of this are happening, they still need to make sure that this aspect of the risk and compliance and the governance, all of that happens on a continuous basis with as limited impact, right? Because right, and if you have to do it, I think that is where we see the power of, I think, ServiceNow and the platform of platforms that Venu spoke about being very important to help the enterprises address this in a manner that it's not just reactive but proactive, right, and make it, I would say, a little more dependent on the platform than just people or data residing in all kinds of Excel sheets everywhere, which happens in all enterprises, right? I mean, right. And how do we move it on to into the system and ability to manage this in a structured manner, correct? And I think where we bring in, and I think is how, I mean, our ability to help customers, because we understand the processes, we understand the customers in India well. How can we help them, right, address these challenges, and how can we put our processes and structure and leverage the ServiceNow platform of GRC to be able to provide this as a solution to our customers, correct? So I think, and I think Kapil also spoke about how customers can start it. We don't need to, I mean, look at all of them. They can start in a small way. In many cases, they're already addressing it in some ways. It's just a question of extension of it. So a number of ways this can be there, and we can make that and start this journey. So we are very excited, Mohan, I think, by the art of the possible of what we can do and how we can help our customers, right? So we really look forward to working closely with ServiceNow and look forward to making sure that we are a meaningful and a trusted partner to our customers in helping them on this, right? And there is, I think our job is to help customers so that they can focus on the main business, right? And we look forward to that. I again, on behalf of Conneqt, want to thank all of our customers, all the participants, and also look forward to working very closely with ServiceNow in this particular journey. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you very much, and thank you, Venu, for providing the insights and the experience you shared. Kapil, for the solution, the details you talked about, and Praful on the customer engagements and the experiences that you bring in from the GRC domain. So I hope all of our customers found this very insightful, useful, relevant, and we'll be very happy to work with each of you subsequent to this. and understand more of your requirements and how we can come together, help you in your journey and bring out the desired results. Right. So thank you all for your participation, and thanks to our partners as well and all the people who organized this event. Looking forward to connecting with all of you, and have a wonderful day, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.